Hello and welcome to My Security TV. My name's Chris Cubbage and we're at the Marriott Hotel in Sydney. We've just heard Vlado Damjanovski give a presentation at the IDC Technologies CCTV Technical Forum. Vlado, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Vlado, I'll read the presentation you just gave. Best practice in defining requirements, specifications, selection, installation, commissioning of digital CCTV systems. Vlado, you're the CEO of Vidi Labs, but most importantly, you're the current CCTV Standards Subcommittee Chairman for Australian Standards.
Yeah, that's correct.
Just maybe explain your role with Australian Standards and where the industry is currently at.
Yep, okay. Well, CCTV standards were created only about 5-6 years ago. Unfortunately, Australia did not have any standards until such time, but with the help of my few colleagues, Les Simmons, Oli D'Souza and a few others, we worked reasonably hard, I guess, for about a couple of years.
Yes.
To come up and create this new set of standards called AS4806 series. So we've got AS4806.1, .2, .3 and .4. So these were the first standards we produced, as I said, about 5-6 years ago. And it was I must admit, long-term and hard work, but we managed to produce something that was actually much more advanced and upgraded from existing European and British standards, which we of course used as a basis. So we didn't want to reinvent the wheel if there was something as a reference to use. But we improved considering the digital technology and so forth, although they were still at that time and still are analog CCTV standards. So my role over there was to help out produce something that is meaningful and practical. And of course now at that time I was also elected to be chairman of the standards subcommittee, which I still have such a role, and now of course I'm trying to motivate the industry to produce the digital CCTV standards because there are no such standards in the world yet, and I think we've got good momentum to build on the already work that we've done on the analog.
Well, the drive in the industry is certainly towards digital and IP, and if the standards aren't there, we're going to be in the same situation that we were with the analog standards.
It's such a fast-changing industry, so many things are happening there, and unfortunately, if we don't catch up with that train now, it will be even more difficult to catch it up later on. So, as I said, using that momentum from the analog standards work, we try now to put together something that obviously it's not our standard personally, it's the industry standard. So we really want the industry to get involved. There is a very positive feedback. We already prepared the essence of what I call is the ICU terminology or identification CCTV units, which I tried to present today at the end of this
And indeed,
session.
Following that presentation, there was some contributory ideas to that. So there's still some room to go?
Still some room to go. A lot of people contribute with a lot of clever ideas. And of course, 1 or 2 heads cannot think as 100 heads.
Of course.
And this is why we are asking everybody, and not just Australia, but in actual fact, with this idea, I've been traveling around and proposing elsewhere out of Australia, and the interest is big, simply because, as I said, there are no standards in the world.
What are some of the key countries that have shown some interest?
Russia, in a big way. I mean, I'm obviously known to the world industry outside of Australia as well, but Russians seem to be more keen on learning from us because my couple of books are also translated in Russian, so they know my work from there.
There you go.
And I use that as a vehicle to promote the ideas of standards, not because of anything else, but because I know there will be a lot of interesting feedback from there, and indeed there was. So in a way, I think we as Australia, and I'm proud to say this, are in a very special focus of the world industry. If we produce something, I'm sure other countries will follow. Some of them will probably improve on that, but everybody is watching who is going to do some of the standards first.
Is it something that maybe ONVIV should be looking at as well? They're looking at the standardisation of the devices themselves, but how they're actually designed in the
Correct.
first place.
Well, there are two different aspects. Like ONVIV is a consortium of companies, and of course, their work is very important because they're talking about interconnectivity between different products. The standards is actually going to define all the things that are needed to produce the end effect, which includes different type of compressions, encodings, and so forth, which actually ONVIV doesn't consider. And I'm not saying we are in no way competing, but complementing. Perhaps in the very near future, there may be one world standard, like high definition now, is no longer PAL or NTSC. It's US, Europe, Australia, they're all using the same standards. So perhaps in the very near future, what we are working to be Australian standards may be just simply part of IEC international standards perhaps, or ISO international standards on
Well, it certainly sounds like the right direction to take anyway.
Absolutely, and perhaps important to mention, although this is not a whinge, but working for Standards Australia is a voluntary job. Therefore, the pace we could work with is not the highest.
Is there funding from government for that?
No.
And what is interest from government in relation to CCTV standards?
I guess there will be important for everybody to have a standard there which will adhere to and work.
Some states have introduced guidelines, and we've got the Australian standards that we've been using, but the federal government and the states themselves seem to be doing their own thing.
And this is because during the development of the standards, there was nothing, so suddenly somehow a few different bodies started working in the same direction. But ultimately, the standards should be obviously on top of all the things working, and everybody should draw from the standards. But somehow, again, in Australia, this is a little bit more voluntary initiative than being sponsored or funded by the government. I know in Europe, for example, these are all funded by the European Union and standards of IEC that actually is obviously producing quicker the results that you require. People, specialists sent from a company to do something, they are paid for their days lost.
Right.
And that way obviously you produce quicker results. But again, I can't get involved in politics and why and how. I just know that has to be done, so as much as I can, with some of the help from the colleagues, try to produce something that hopefully industry will embrace, and we can hopefully soon produce something that will be the skeleton of at least digital CCTV standards.
Well, look, CCTV is in all aspects of our lives now, so it's critically important that we at least have a standard to work from.
Absolutely.
So, Vlado, congratulations on the work that you've been doing. Well done. You've been doing it for a while now.
Thank you.
And no doubt we'll see you again. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Good on you.